If you're not using AI as a music producer, you will fall behind. But if you're using it in the way most producers do, you'll also become completely forgettable, and your music could end up as AI slop. And that's already happening because AI is reshaping music production faster than anything since DAWs, but most producers are using it completely wrong. So the real question isn't should you use AI, it's how do you use it without losing your sound and your soul. For anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Will Darling from EDM Tips. We've helped thousands of producers go from never having finished tracks to releasing on the world's biggest labels and building real careers. And because of that, we get a lot of questions about AI. People are excited, people are confused, and honestly, people are a bit scared because it raises a real question. What's the point of spending years honing your craft if AI can just do it instantly? So today, I want to show you how we can use AI at every stage of the music production process, from idea generation to mixing, mastering, and even promotion. And I'll also show you where I think it falls down and could actually hurt your music. Plus, I'll also give you some action steps so you can start using AI in the right way today. But first, we need to identify the real problem we're trying to solve. And you do that by asking yourself, where are you stuck or struggling? Well, from working with literally thousands of producers, I've seen that people generally get stuck due to three main points. One is clarity, or knowing what decision to make next. Two is experience, and that's knowledge plus application, because you can spend your whole life learning something, but unless you apply it, you're not going to get experience or improve. And then the third thing they struggle with is finishing music. So you've got a loop, but no idea how to turn it into a full track, which is really just a combination of those first 2 points anyway. So the real question becomes, where can AI remove friction from those problems without replacing your taste? And hold on to that, because as you're about to see, that is everything. So here is where most producers go wrong. Make me a track, click, done. And yeah, it kind of sounds cool sometimes, and it's impressive what AI can do, but you didn't make it. And more importantly, you didn't learn anything. So for the next track, you're starting from zero again. And worse still, everyone else can do exactly the same thing. There's a ridiculous statistic about how many new releases on Spotify AI generated, and I'll put that on the screen just to really scare you. Remember that deadmau5 ad about the cardinal sin of EDM? This is like that, but times a million. So if you're competing on output alone instead of taste, that is a race to the bottom. So here's how to avoid that trap. Use AI for inspiration and to remove friction, not to replace your taste. And we got into this because we enjoy the process of music production anyway, so why would you want to rob yourself of that? So here's how you can actually use it properly. We use something inside the music production accelerator called the RAPID system. And that simply stands for reference, assemble, place, improve, and deliver. And AI can fit into each of these stages, but there are a couple of pitfalls you need to look out for. So let's break it down. Firstly, let's look at stem separation, which I think is one of the biggest wins for most producers, because not only can you use it for grabbing vocals and creating cool bootlegs and remixes, something most people miss is that you can actually use it to learn how to become a better producer. Here's how. If we separate the stems of any track we love, like this, it opens up some real opportunities. We can examine what are the drums doing, what kind of drum sounds are they using, what's the bass doing, what's happening in the chords, and how do these elements all interplay and complement each other. So using AI, we can now more easily study how that track was put together and take those lessons into our own music. And look, we can even slow things down if you warp it correctly, just to make it easier to analyze what's going on. So AI doesn't replace learning, but it can actually accelerate it. Now for the next stage, which is assemble, this is where we're generating ideas. And we've already got tools that can help with this kind of stuff, like Wingman by Mixed Key. And whilst they aren't totally using AI, there are elements of it like the stem separation. And then you can generate melodies, chords, and bass lines if you're not that hot on music theory yet, which definitely helps speed up the production process. And you've also got tools like this one from Output, where it can help you pick samples that work with what you're already using in a track, which are very cool, and I'm actually working on something along this line myself. More on that in the future. But this next part is where things get heated and people get divided. So don't be too harsh in the comments, but do please let me know what you think. Generative tools like Suno, and I get it, I totally get it. There are real ethical concerns here, as it collates patterns from millions of tracks without permission and then reflects them back based on your input. And the full legal implications of all this are yet to be seen, but I'll talk about that in a few minutes. So with Suno, if you press a button and release the result, you're replacing yourself. So let's just try that right now. So here I am in Suno. I'm going to say create a deep house track, perfect for EDM tips. and up to date for 2026. And let's just hit create. And we can see it's coming up with a couple of ideas here. Okay, let's have a quick listen to them. Like, it's impressive, but this isn't our music. But if you use it for inspiration, that's different. So if I like the chords from that piano, or I like that vocal, I can just download this, bring it into Ableton. I could just decide to use one chord and then create my track around that. And then I'm off to the races with that inspiration, and I could use that idea from Suno in a million different ways. And to me, that's no different from hearing a record or a sample loop or a preset and getting inspired, which is where dance music came from anyway. And the other way we can use tools like Suno is to come up with vocal ideas. Here's a little instrumental idea I created. And perhaps I want to know what it's going to sound like with vocals on it. So let's upload that to Suno, and here's what it came up with. Wait for it. There you go.
Down where the lights never touch my face.
So although it's completely changed the vibe of my track, it's using the same chords, the same melodies, and it's generated vocals which I could now download, stem separate, and use as a point for inspiration, or to send to a vocalist and say this is the vibe I'm looking for, or just to flat out use it, although the lyrics are usually a bit dodgy, and of course you can tweak them in Suno as well. Plus you could use ChatGPT to help you write lyrics. And I know I'm going to get hate for that, but remember, you still have to use your taste to make the decision of what you keep and what you delete. I shared a flight with legendary house producer Todd Terry a couple of weeks ago, and he told me he uses Suno exactly for this. So again, AI can be the starting point, not the finished product. Your taste is still the decision maker. Now, as a side note, I fairly recently spoke to a techno producer called Rainier Zonveld, who actually has a generative AI computer rigged up when he's doing a live gig that listens to the music he's creating, then generates new ideas based on his music, which he then mixes back into the live set. Now, I think that's a really cool way of using AI, and it's only going to become cheaper and more available to more and more people. So now let's get into the arrangement stage, which, as I'm sure you'll already know, is where most producers get stuck. You've got a loop, you think it's got potential, it sounds cool, but no idea how to take it into a full arrangement. So what do most people do? They guess, or more often, they actually just get frustrated, give up, and start another track, only for exactly the same thing to happen. But if we go back to our stem separated reference, we see we can get guidance here too. Not only can we mark out the different sections of the track, we can ask ourselves, when does the bass come in? How long is the intro? What's changing every 8 bars? And how does the automation move this track forwards and control the energy over time? And the stem separation really helps us hone in on each of those things. And once you understand how the pros are arranging their music, you can apply it to your own and actually start finishing tracks. Now, this next part is where AI can give fast results, but also false hope, and it also is where people can get a little bit lazy. If you're newish to music production, learning the basics first so you understand what tools like EQ, compression, reverb actually do is really, really important. But once you've got some foundation, the mixing tools and mastering tools that are coming out now using AI are really powerful. Check out this track by one of our accelerator students, Synchronaut. It's just been released on EDX's record label Syrup, and it's already been supported and played by Nora In Pure. This is just a mix down, and I'm going to put it through Ozone 12's mastering assistant. Such a tune. So we can hear the change it's made. But this is the important part. We can then learn from this process by bypassing each device and listening to what's happening to the signal. And if you get stuck and you can't really see what's happening or hear what's happening, this is where you would use the help file in Ozone to figure out what exactly that device is doing. So once again, we're not just getting better results, we're getting better understanding, and we're becoming better producers, and this really matters. Now, this track already sounded amazing before we used the AI mastering tool, and that didn't come from pressing generate. It came from study, practice, and feedback, and we can use AI to speed up all of those things. Now, feedback is where AI still totally falls short. I know I've tried to build tools to help with that, and There is some use in it, but we're still a long way from where you can get accurate, useful, detailed, and actionable feedback from AI. So if you want professional iterative feedback and guidance on your music through every step of the process, you can sign up for the waiting list for the next Accelerator program, which uses many of these AI tools to help you get even faster results and shorten the learning curve. And we've already got pretty incredible results without even using AI. Now, this next part is where AI excels, and it almost becomes a cheat code. Not for the music itself, but for everything else around it. Because most of us don't struggle with ideas, we struggle with structure and workflow and getting things finished. We struggle with knowing what we should be focusing on in what order. So much as this might actually put me out of a job, you can ask ChatGPT, I've got 10 hours a week. What should I do to improve in the fastest possible way? Or you should ask it, what exercises can I focus on to improve my music theory skills? And suddenly you've got direction. You can plan release strategies. You can plan content for promotion. You can plan your workflow. This and of itself can remove a huge amount of friction. Now, there is something you need to be aware of when it comes to AI, because this cuts both ways. One of our accelerator students, Cartfish, had a track do about 500,000 streams in about a week, which is pretty amazing. But he then shared a clip of a new idea he was working on, just a few seconds of preview in the studio. And before he even released it, 3 different people used AI to finish full versions of that idea and release them. Now, he did get them taken down, but the reality is this kind of thing is only going to happen more. So yes, AI can speed you up, but it also means you need to move faster, be more intentional, and protect your ideas, or at least be aware of it. Okay, so what's for the future? Well, let's zoom out a bit, because this is where things get really interesting. Consider this. Today, AI is the worst it will ever be. It will get better, much better. It will get better at mimicking styles. It will get better at generating music. And honestly, it's already hard enough to prove plagiarism if it's just from one track. But when something is influenced by millions of tracks, how do you even define that anymore? And that's a bigger conversation. And again, I'd love to hear what your take on it is in the comments. But personally, here's what I believe will happen next. I was in a hotel recently, and you know the kind of art you see on the walls. It's fine, it looks nice, it fills the space, but no one's flying across the world to see it. No one's queuing up for it. And that's what a lot of AI music is going to become. Functional, inoffensive, forgettable, but people will still queue for hours to see the Mona Lisa, even though they could just look it up online. Why is that? Because it means something, because it's human, because it has a story, and that's never going away. So if you're making what I'd call commodity music, so that's background music that you might have for gym playlists or restaurants or YouTube videos, stuff that people don't really pay that much attention to, which is a huge industry in itself. AI is going to take a lot of that, and it's going to do it better, and it's going to do it faster. So if your entire value is, I can make decent tracks quickly, then it's going to be commoditized. That's my belief. But when it comes to listeners, there are 2 types of music. There's the background commoditized music, and then there's art that connects. And connection is where your value lies. Because people don't just listen to music. They connect with artists, they connect with stories, they connect with energy. And AI can't do that. There are examples on Spotify where there are AI artists that get millions and millions of streams a month, but then if you go over to their Instagram, there are barely any followers, and those listens, as soon as people realize it's AI, die off. Like, look at this example here between this AI artist and the amount of followers she has on Instagram, and then the example of our student Cartfish that I just mentioned a minute ago. Look how many listens he's getting per month compared to how many followers he's got in Instagram. And these followers are the ones that pay for tickets to his gigs, buy his merch, and will support him through thick and thin. So AI can't be you. It can't have your taste, it can't have your story, your weird ideas like throwing a dubstep drop into a house track, or doing a crazy pitch bend on a vocal chop just because it feels right, or bringing inspiration from a track your dad played you when you were 8 years old into a modern trance banger. Like, that's human, and that's what people resonate with. So the secret weapon AI can't replace, cheesy as it sounds, is you. And this is why relationships matter more than ever. So the producers I think that are going to keep winning won't be the ones who just use AI well, they're going to be the ones who build real connections with their listeners. And to be honest, this has already been the case for years, but as we've seen, we can use AI in creative ways to help us do that. I used it to help me make this video. Yes, I had to edit it loads, obviously, and make it not slop. But this is still a people industry. So yes, use AI to speed up and sharpen your skills. Don't get left behind, but don't let it replace your taste and therefore your soul. So here are 5 things you could try today to make the most of AI. So the first is to analyze 3 different reference tracks using AI. Break it apart using stem separation, which is native in Ableton now. And then 2, Write down everything you hear in a document. Number 3, copy and paste that into something like ChatGPT and just ask it what you missed. A lot of what it comes up with you would have already heard, or it's just going to be rubbish, but there will be a couple of things that will make you go, yeah, maybe I did miss that. Number 4, if you're using AI tools, try and reverse engineer what they're actually doing so it's going to improve your skills and your learning. And then number 5, absolutely use AI to plan your workflow, your learning schedule, your release schedule, anything that's not the actual making of music. If you do just those 5 things, you'll already be ahead of 99% of producers. And this, as I mentioned, is exactly what we've been building into the completely new music production accelerator, which is launching soon. So using AI inside a real system to help you get faster results without losing your sound or your soul. So if you want to be the first to hear about that, join the waiting list below and I'll keep you posted. Now, if you actually want to hear the results of a track being created with AI, watch this video next where I do exactly that. But before you do it, I have one question for you. What's one thing AI has genuinely helped you with in your music production, and what's one thing you think it should never touch? Let me know in the comments, and if you want, I'll break down my exact up-to-date AI workflow step by step in the next video. Again, just let me know and then head over there to see the results of me using AI to make music. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this useful.